hook up to all the places. I'm going to be so excited if this works today. Okay, we are live in most of the places, and we are live on Instagram. All right. Hi, Adita. How are you today?
How are you, Kelly? So excited to be here.
So good. I'm so excited to be here. Guess what? We're going live into the hub. It's going to work today. What? Oh my gosh, that makes me happy. All right. So it's Friday. It's about to be Memorial Day. And we are going to wrap up everything we've talked about this week in regards to GLP-1, increasing it naturally through diet, through stress management, through sleep. We talked about those things all week. And now we're going to kind of bring this all together and talk about, we're not live in the hub, but that's okay. All right. We're going to bring it all together. You're going to give us a little preview of the system that you've created for food logging that doesn't take over your life and really exposes the holes and the issues in somebody's diet. So let's introduce ourselves to the audience, and then let's just jump right in.
Okay, go for it, Kelly.
I'm Kelly Poulter. I'm a transformational coach. I've been working for the last 5 years with fitness instructors. So I've got a large community of fitness instructors that follow me, as well as personal trainers. And I'm on my own weight improvement journey with Adita. And maybe we are live in the hub. Hey, Jody, so good to see you. So I'm Kelly. I'm a transformational coach. I'm paired up with Adita to offer the fullness fix because I have a certain set of skills. And that set of skills is around coaching. Adita,
the coach.
You're the magician here. Tell us who you are.
I am a holistic lifestyle coach. I've been doing this for 40 years, and I'm just really, really passionate when it comes to holistic health, the whole thing, because not one thing, and I learned this super early in my career that, just being a fitness pro was not going to cut it. I needed my sleep
and
involved,
amen.
The food involved. I needed to have a happy lifestyle. All of it had to be involved. So that is where all of my philosophies come into play. But I really like coaching people and bringing it down to super simple ways of doing things. For some weird reason, we've made this whole food thing complicated. So Kelly and I really want to make this simple and doable. Just really doable, actionable steps that you can do as opposed to going the whole medication route. We want to help you do your whole lifestyle route. And I think that's the big part of this.
That's so true. And I want to dig in on that for a second, if that's okay. You and I, we're going live in a lot of different places because we both have a fitness pro following, and then we also have some consumer following. And what we realized as I started going through your way of eating that you teach is that this could just benefit so many of both of those communities. There are fitness pros out there who are living on Diet Coke like you did when you first started. There are fitness pros out there who are like me, wondering for 20 years why they're still overweight, even though they're teaching 20 classes a week and can't get that piece together. So, and then traditional nutrition education is so lacking. Oh my gosh, the food pyramid, don't get me started. What in the world is that all about? That is completely backwards. And so what you did that I think was so genius in the nutritional coach certification, and you've got another course that's called Weight Loss Mastery, and you do education. You want people to understand what they're eating, and then that's when they can start to customize their food choices. But past that, you've also got this tool, and will you talk a little bit about that? Because that's what we promised yesterday when we came on is to talk about the tool.
Yeah, well, it's not a tool per se, but it's a way of doing things. So again, we want to make this really simple. Listen, I've had clients that have counted macros, points, and everything else. They put food into teeny tiny containers and try to eat out of that. That to me is way too complicated, and it becomes no fun. And the bottom line is, when you go to the gas station, it's not complicated to put gas in your car. So it should not be complicated for us to put the right type of gasoline in our car. So my philosophy is you do a 1-week food log, 7 days. And then I have an entire system using markers to make it super simple that you can then look at your paper and see clear as day what you need to move around. It doesn't mean you have to eliminate everything. It just means that maybe it's in the wrong place.
Mm-hmm.
That bagel should not be at breakfast. Maybe it should be somewhere else. And maybe it should be accompanied by something different, right? So
what? You're not supposed to have bagels for breakfast.
It just, and then it goes back to what I said last time too. We're all individuals. So the reason that I don't put together and sit there and write out a food plan for everybody is because I found that in the 40 years that I've been doing this, I found it never worked. Like it never once worked. It really didn't. It frustrated people. They got all stressed out because they were like, oh my God, I'm supposed to eat 2 eggs and 8 ounces of avocado and I couldn't do it. And they're all freaked out.
Oh my gosh, that's so true. That I find that really interesting that you just said when you prescribed specific, like people will come to you and ask you, like, I just need you to tell me exactly what to do. And then, but when you do that, it never works. It's not authentic to them. It's, you guys, who here can relate to that? Who here has prescribed like a specific workout plan to somebody, or maybe you work outside of the fitness industry and you've prescribed something very specific to somebody, and it just gets blown out of the water really, really quickly. And then the people should on themselves and lose complete efficacy in the idea of making any kind of change.
Well, and here's the thing too. Let's say I brought you something from IKEA. Okay, you have no idea what it is. And I said, here, Kelly, build it. Well, you start, you're getting frustrated, you're tired, and you're kind of like, why?
Wait, have you given me instructions or no?
I gave you the IKEA instructions.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, but why? Now let's turn this around. Let's say you needed a bookshelf. You needed a bookshelf. And I brought you and I said, here's a bookshelf, build it. Building it, even though it's the IKEA instructions, it might be still challenging, but at least you're excited to build it because you know, wait a minute, it's a bookshelf and I have a general idea of what it'll look like and I can kind of figure it out and put it all together. Well, however bizarre that story sounds, the same thing goes with nutrition and food. If I can teach you about different foods, how they break down and digest, how your body responds to them, how your body acts to them, guess what? It makes it so much more just easier for you to start going, oh, now I know why I shouldn't have had 2 bagels at breakfast and why I was feeling so sleepy and needed a cup of coffee right afterwards. That makes sense. And so if it makes sense, then guess what? It makes it easier for you to move things around on your food log. So that's really what the food log is all about. And let me tell you, I've had clients of mine that have come. I use 3 colors of markers. And the one that you shouldn't have a lot of is pink. So I can just tell you that, like that pink right there. But she came and there was pink everywhere. And now there's not a lot of pink. And she's like, wow. And I feel better. I have more energy. And I had absolutely no idea that I needed that much pink on my food log. Like that was ridiculous. So that's what it is. It's just, I think colors always help people. And then it's a clear vision of, wait, this is what I'm doing. This is how I feel, how my health is not good. But let's change those colors. And then all of a sudden I'll feel better.
So there were 2 things in there that I found really interesting. The first was you started talking about like having a map, like knowing where the end goal is, which is something that we are doing with our clients as they come in. You'll see if you tell us that you're interested in this program, you're going to get a series of emails over this weekend. And the first one is going to have a fast action bonus in it. And in the fast action bonus, you get a one-on-one coaching session with either Adita or I or myself. And in that coaching session, we're going to create the vision for where you want to be. And I do this a lot with my business coaching clients. We create the vision, and it's important because you can get so bogged down in the do this, then do this, then do this, then do this. People come to you and ask you in their diet, give me the blah, blah, blah. But then they don't follow that because their brain doesn't have this true map to where they want to be. And what you need is for your brain to have the emotions of the end result. So I'll have people sit and think about where they want to be, and then what does that feel like, and create the emotions in their body. Because when you create the emotions, your mind will draw a map to how that works. And then all you need is to fill in the gaps between what you know and what you don't know in order to get there. And that's where Adita and I come in with the information, the science, the research, all the good stuff.
Yeah, but
right?
Yeah, and absolutely. But I just want everyone to know that we're trying to give you all this information, not in the sense of, 4 ounces, 12 crackers, all that kind of stuff, in just easy ways of doing things. And I try to help you in the kitchen as much as I can too, because once we can set up your kitchen for success, then it makes life easier. Then you're like, oh yeah, here's my snacks. I got that. And I can make a meal within 20 minutes. It makes life easier.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I do understand some people don't like to cook. So does that mean you can't be in this program? Not at all, because I will help you find a food delivery service or pick just the right things out of the grocery store so that you can work with what you have and what you want to do, because we're all individual.
So good. I think that's really important. And that's what those Thursday meetings will be about a lot. I think as we go on, you'll be adding lessons based on what you're seeing people need. So like, we need a video of us making the grab and go snacks that we like to have. And so we'll be creating those and putting those in. But then on Thursdays, here's what I find. I do every week coaching with my business clients. And I just find that the ones that attend the meetings are the ones that have success. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be true inside the Fullness Fix too. The ones that show up and are in the meetings are more engaged in the process. They're getting their questions answered. They're getting questions answered that they didn't even know they had, that they're hearing somebody else ask. And then you're giving out the information like, well, you're feeling full at 11 o'clock, but you always eat lunch at 12. Like, here's what you could do. And so they're getting all kinds of education just by attending those meetings.
Absolutely.
True.
Absolutely. Because we want to make you successful. We want to make sure that everyone's successful. And I think that out of all the different programs and diet plans and all that stuff out there, the one thing we want to do is make sure that we're customizing this enough so that you get specifically what you need.
Tell me how that's worked for you with a client in the past with the food logging tool that we were just talking about.
So here's the thing, people, I said this the other day. I sit down with a new client and the first thing I go is, hey, so what did you eat yesterday? It's usually my first thing that I say. And the first thing they say is, oh yeah, yesterday wasn't a good day, but I ate really well. It never fails. That's what this is. This is a conversation that I have over and over with these people. So when I can actually have them, not me tell them that they're doing poorly, have them look at their food log and color it in the way they're supposed to be coloring it in, all of a sudden it's a roadmap. They're like, whoa, now I understand what went on. Hold on. And again, I'm not asking you to remove everything out of your diet and, and live on celery sticks. All I'm going to do is teach you the methodology of just moving things, maybe to a different meal. Seriously, half the time it's just moving things to a different meal, or just making sure that there's enough protein with each meal and fruits and vegetables and things like that.
Love it. Love it. So good. So I would love to hear a story of a client that came to you, and I know you just told us that you had a client that just didn't realize how much sugar was in their diet, and then they did the food logging tool and they're just seeing pink, 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 pink. And now they're not seeing pink and they're feeling better and they're making the progress. Can you give us just like one more example of that?
Well, so there is something else though. So all of you guys listening, and I want you to really think about this, okay? You have to think about how many diets have you been on in your lifetime. And I think that one of the biggest challenges I believe as human beings is that we don't have our own instruction manual with the troubleshooting guide in the back. We don't. So we are going through this, we developed, and then, we basically did and ate what our parents told us to eat. Then we learned some stuff from a friend. We read it in a magazine, and we have gone through life like that.
We got sold from like the diet industry and all kinds of marketing, like this food is healthy. A bagel is healthy to eat for breakfast.
Well, and here's the thing that I do want you to all, and I was going to mention it yesterday, and I didn't, but I'm going to mention it right now, is that, so let's just say I'm a bread company and I make bread, right? And maybe I'm the baker. Well, I don't only have the baker myself and then the person that does the marketing. There is also a person that is responsible for the photograph that's going to be on the label of the bread. And there's another person responsible for the words. And they want to make sure that it appears to be as healthy as possible, which is why they put a little bit of green on it. And maybe they use raffia to tie the bag of the bread, because then you feel like it's healthier. And that's what you go for, just from a visual, without looking at ingredients and everything else. So
and then there's somebody else that formulates the whole ingredients label that has nothing to do with reality.
Oh, of course. And here's the thing. It's kind of like, oh, you used to sell this bread fresh. Well, now that we're not going to sell it fresh, we need it to appear fresh. So we're going to use these additives and preservatives to make it fluffy. And when you warm it up, it gets crunchy on the outside, and the color stays good, and it doesn't get mold and da 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 da. So there's all this other stuff into it, because bread at the end of the day, and I don't know how we got
those things can be masked under natural flavors, natural additives.
Absolutely. And that's what ends up occurring, And so when
we do a whole series on that, and
maybe that'll be a series that we do, but kind of going back to what we were saying. So I tend to have two kinds of clients. I have clients that are just frustrated. They've tried everything under the sun. It goes back to how many diets have you gone on? And the bottom line is that when people come to me and they say, yeah, I've been on like 6 or 7 diets. I've lost 10 pounds, gained 10 pounds. Well, if you keep gaining, then that means you never really learned what foods work best for your body.
Mm-hmm. With my work with fitness pros, I'll hear them say that, just telling me their life story, but it's more, for some reason, more extreme. It'll be more like, I lost 50 pounds, I lost 100 pounds, and then I gained 120 pounds. Like I see really big extremes sometimes with people in the fitness industry. And I think it's that whole mind game of like, I know what's supposed to be healthy. I know what I'm supposed to be doing. And then it not working for them.
Well, of course. And look, society pushes us, to be honest. I'm an odd bird, like I told you yesterday, I would go to a party and not eat if I didn't feel that food was going to be valued to me, where other people they would eat because it's kind of like, I have to, it's rude. Right. And so society tends to put a lot of this stuff on us, and then that overflows into our diet plan. And unfortunately, when our body feels like it's starved, it rebels. And when it rebels, it's going to gain back twice as much weight because it's trying to hold a buffer. And that's the bottom line. So we really need to, that's why it's so important to me that everybody really understand that these are individualized food plans. This is you and us figuring out what works for you and coming up with the plan so that you can eat in a way that actually allows you to lose weight and then allows you to stay at that weight. And then you don't even think about it. It doesn't
allows you to stop obsessing over food.
Yeah.
I will say that's one of the biggest wins for me, even though I'm not yet at my goal weight, and it's taking longer than I would like it to, because it always does, right? But I'm not obsessed with food. I'm not worried about like, am I going to blow everything out of the water this weekend? I'm not. I was just working with one of my soldiers that was saying, I do great during the week, and then during the weekend, I just blow it out of the water. And so I started digging in, and her big thing was they go out to eat on Sunday after church. And she just tends to just blow all of her good work out of the water. So I gave her some strategies, and I could just feel the stress just melt away. Like, oh my gosh, I have a plan now, and I don't have to go out to eat with my family and then get biscuits and gravy and then feel like crap for 3 days and like have to go back to being really extreme on Monday. So
yeah. It's really powerful, and food should not be a stress. And your body weight should not be a stress. But remembering that, when we are living a leaner life, we're healthier longer. And that's really the important part of this, but to make it stress-free, because if we're adding stress into the mix, that's not going to help us lose weight. And we talked about that yesterday, Beth.
So good. Okay, so final thoughts.
Final thoughts. So all of you guys listening out there, remember that we're all individuals. There is not one specific food plan or so-called diet that's going to help you. And that's what our goal is with Fullness Fix, is to teach you that formula so you can easily figure out, okay, what works for me? What works for me? And sometimes that might mean something as simple as, let's say you're married and you're like, but wait a minute, but my husband or wife, they eat a certain way. It doesn't mean that you can't not eat with a person, but maybe you put more protein on your plate, or maybe you put more vegetables on your plate than they do. Like maybe your proportions are a little bit different, but we'll figure all that out as you're going through the Fullness Fix. And then it'll make life easy.
I love it. I love it. So my final thought is just what your next right move is. And that is to just let Adita or I know that you want the information that's going to be coming out this weekend. So my email is kelly@kellypoulter.com. I'm going to put that in the comments. Feel free to drop me an email. You can also comment here and we will grab your email from that, but make sure I've got your email address so that we can send you the information that's going to be coming out this weekend. It's not a commitment. It's a commitment to just getting more information. Mm-hmm. And then we'll be able to send you and know that you're interested. So we'll be able to send you what you need.
And Kelly, I don't really want to let the cat out of the bag, but this first group that we're doing it at a special price, aren't we?
Very special price. It's like 75% off of what the price will be within very shortly.
So this is the time to grab.
And you know what's cool about joining a first group? I'm so sorry I just talked over you. What's really cool about joining a first group, especially with experienced coaches like you and me, is that coaches always overserve when they deliver something for the first time. So you're going to get more of us. Like I already know that Adita and I are both going to be showing up to group coaching on Thursdays throughout the whole first group, which going forward, it may just be me or it may just be Adita. I already know that we're going to be responding to the things that you need with like extra resources, extra videos, extra booklets, extra recipes, whatever it is. So you will get overserved at a 75% discount when you join the founding group.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, we want to, and listen, even if you don't join the founding group and you join the next one over there, at the end of the day, we want to see everybody successful, and we are committed to helping each and every one of you.
Isn't that what it's all about? Like having somebody to come alongside you and hold your hand and say, no, we're not quitting. I realized that last week was a bust. Let's regroup. Let's coach you through this. Let's get you going further, better, harder, stronger, faster.
Exactly.
Oh, Adita, I love working with you. Thank you for doing this with me.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's a pleasure. I love working with you too. That's why we're here today after we both had exercise classes.
Right. This is the most casual ever. Just covered in sweat, came straight from cycle class. All right, you guys, we will see you soon. Make sure that you comment or email and let us know that you're interested so we can put you on the list to get more information.
Absolutely. Bye, guys.
Bye.